I was trained specifically to find out how much money you had to spend and to spend it all for you because I collected a 30% commission.
You got scammed.
What's up, YouTube fam? Thank you and welcome back to the channel. Thanks for watching. So today we're going to talk about funeral scams. The last thing you need when you're mourning is to have to deal with people conning you. But believe it or not, there's a lot of demons out there who are just out there to get your money. This first video I show you is going to show someone who actually worked at the funeral home, and he's going to tell you exactly what they do.
The title of this video is The Funeral Hustle, GoFundMe. But I do want to take this opportunity to spread some education amongst my people, and I'm going to forewarn you that the information I'm going to share with you can be disturbing to some, it can be angering to some, it may be hard to stomach, but we're going to talk about it because a place where people waste a lot of money is on funerals. I don't ever really jump when people holler funeral, and the reason for that is I spent a significant part of my life working as a family service counselor in a funeral home. I have seen every aspect of the funeral business. I know it like the back of my hand. Okay, from scraping up your brains off the street, putting them in a bag, taking you to the corner. Once the corner give me the call, I can come pick you up. I come pick you up, clean you up, call my man in to embalm you. I dress you up, put you in the casket, service. To the cemetery we go, burial, cover, flowers, hug your mama. That was my job. Now, let me tell you something. I was trained specifically to find out how much money you had to spend and to spend it all for you because I collected a 30% commission. So, if you had $20,000 funeral policy, insurance policy, it was my job to try to get you to spend $20,000. Okay? So if they taught me to do this, then I'm thinking they taught everybody to do the shit. Now, I had a hard time with this after I had made some money because I say, man, this lady's husband just died, and I just spent $15,000 on his funeral, and she can't pay her mortgage next month. See, because that's what insurance is for, to help the surviving members keep on going after that family member is gone. Now, with GoFundMe, that's different because that's not insurance. That's asking for help. But the bottom line to this situation is, y'all, funerals are a waste of money. Hear me and hear me well. There's no such thing as an airtight casket. I have put people in the ground. A year later, the family's moving to another state. They want to take that family member with them. I make it a point to tell them they cannot be present when we exhume the body. And the reason for that is because that airtight casket that I sold you wasn't really airtight. And it's actually filled with water at this point. And your loved one is in there floating around in water, deceased as can be. Okay, do we steal jewelry? No. The jewelry will be in there floating too, or if it done came off the bones, but it gets real fucked up underground. And I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada. We barely get any rain. So if caskets are filled with water in Nevada, then imagine how much water they got in Georgia or New Orleans. I'm telling you, funerals are a waste of money. Dead is dead. And you can do a decent homegoing if you know what you're doing and you're not dealing with shady people for $5,000 or less, depending on how overdramatic you've been. Because people in the funeral business are taught to take advantage of your emotions with a very, very plain look on our face, something like this. Yes, ma'am, I understand. It's gonna be all right. Is there gonna be credit or cash? I did this every goddamn day. I didn't care if it was your baby or your grandmama. My job was to get paid. So understand this. When you're dealing with funeral home people, okay? It's about that money. It's about that money. It's about that money. And these people collect 30% commissions off of your emotions. I was very good at this. I didn't care who it was, who died, what. I had to get paid. It's a very cold-hearted man's hustle. You know what I'm saying? So just understand when somebody get to hollering and screaming about a funeral, tell them, don't spend all that goddamn money to put in a hole in the ground.
This next girl, Danielle Watkins, pretended to be a funeral home worker and scam grieving families out of $80,000. Check this out and see how she did this so you don't become a victim too.
Police say that 34-year-old Danielle Longino, also known as Danielle Watkins, cheated several families out of $80,000 by contacting several victims after they suffered a death in the family and scammed them out of money for caskets and funeral services. Longino is a former employee at the Anthony L. Watkins Funeral Home and was able to cheat the families by pretending she still worked there. Longino turned herself in last week after her picture was blasted across social media and sent out to the press, stating that she was a person of interest in the scam. The chief of police over in Jonesboro said that he'd never seen a scam like this one.
In this next video, they're actually using people's obituaries online to find information out and turn around and contact you with that information and scam you. Check this out.
They're worried about going through the stages of grief and kind of healing themselves, and then the next thing they know, they're the target of a scam.
Already grieving the loss of a loved one, funeral homes say these scammers are calling, trying to convince you to pay for your loved one's service or extra charges over the phone, threatening that if you don't, the funeral service will not happen.
Frankly, it's just terrible.
Criminals want money. Right? They go where the money is, and older adults hold the majority of wealth in the United States. But let me be clear that they will steal $5 from a 19-year-old or $5,000 from a 79-year-old. They don't care.
Route Song says if you receive a call like this and you don't know if the person on the other end is legitimate, don't give your credit card information over the phone. Instead, call your funeral home or cemetery directly.
In this next video, the funeral home actually has the audacity to sell the person's casket that they bought and they said they would hold. Check this out.
I just cried and cried.
Cassandra Jackson remembers when she first got the text message. Her daughter's unique purple casket with her name and face plastered all over, selling for $78 on Facebook Marketplace. Anaya Jackson was 18 when someone killed her inside her home in March of 2021. The family turned to Celebration of Life Mortuary on Clarkana Ocoee Road to cremate her. They say the funeral home encouraged them to purchase the $5,000 casket and wrap for the viewing with a promise.
He said it would be able to be used for other people in our family, and he would store it for us. Place the loved ones into our care.
You can see the casket in the background of this Facebook video featuring Celebration of Life owner Takevius Bird in January of 2022. Family members say they didn't think anything of the casket until the marketplace listing, with the description that the funeral home went out of business and the seller suggesting the casket be used as a Halloween decoration or a toolbox, despite Bird and Celebration of Life being very much open. What explanation did he give you?
He said that he was at church, that he'll call me back.
Did he ever call you back?
No.
Accounts from family members, former Celebration of Life employees, and the marketplace seller suggest Anaya Jackson's casket and one other found their way into a storage unit. That unit was eventually auctioned off when the bills stopped being paid. The person who bought the unit said a woman representing the funeral home called him to buy it back, but never showed up with the payment. He said the man who now owns the casket does not want to be contacted or sell or give the casket to the family.
Yeah, I just want the casket back. I mean, that's the last thing really that she laid in, and I just want it back.
I will get the money back. Bird and Celebrations of Life have been under investigation by the state since this story ran last year, when he demanded payment before releasing a body to a different funeral home picked by the family, even though he wasn't licensed to work with families directly. The state sent him a cease and desist letter ordering him to stop acting like a licensed funeral director in March. Days later, we watched investigators make an unannounced visit to his business. Celebration of Life is listed on Thursday's Board of Funeral, Cemetery, and Consumer Services agenda under disciplinary action. Bird did not respond to any of our questions for this story, but after that surprise inspection in the spring, he told us this.
Everything is in order. Our license number is F. Thank you for coming to Celebrations of Life Mortuary. One of the mottos here is that we continue to provide families with a heartfelt experience with dignity and class.
Oh my God. Did you see how this dude just switched up to his fake energy so quick? He ain't even licensed. He's dealing with people's bodies. He's dealing with people's loved ones. And he's acting like, you know, it's all about the money. You see it on his face right there. Just how he switched up so fast. You can't trust these people. Even when you're grieving, make sure you got somebody in your corner who can actually deal with these type of people. In the next video, this funeral director leaves the body in his hearse for multiple days and has the nerve to compare humans to animals. And that's why it's okay to leave them in the street. Check this out.
I can't even wrap my mind around the fact that someone could treat another human being like this.
Neighbors are furious over what happened next door. A black hearse sits off in the distance behind the David B. Lawson mortuary in Graham. This is where the funeral director says he left a body he picked up from the Carborough Police Department.
We were all trying to find someone who could claim kin.
Lawson says the woman was dead for 10 days before police found her. By the time he brought the body back to the funeral home, it was already badly decomposed, and he couldn't embalm her, so he kept the body at the mortuary overnight.
When I come in the next day, before I could open my front door, I smelled it. And I say, she's got to go.
He says the crematory in Greensboro accepted the body while he and investigators worked to contact the woman's family.
Day and a half, he was calling and telling me he was bringing her back down here. He said, my whole place is messed up with odor.
Lawson says with no authorization to cremate the body, it left him with no other choice but to store the body in the hearse out back.
No, it's not right. But what other options would you have? Would you have wanted me to bring it to your house? Do you think they would have accepted it if I took it to Carborough Police Department? No. So I'm left holding the bag.
I was mowing the yard. Tired of the smell, Doug Yarborough decided to look inside the hearse parked out back.
I saw flies come out the window.
Flies and maggots swarming around the decomposed body. But Lawson says Carborough Police left him with no option.
I placed the body outside for health issues inside my business.
What about the health issues of the community and the business right next door?
Okay, that wasn't that big of a health issue. I mean, it was an animal in the street out here for I don't know how long. Nobody said nothing about that. I saw it.
But you can't equate human life to animal life.
Yeah, but they all did. And my thing is, I have utmost respect for a deceased person.
This video was part 1 of part 2. This subject is so intense and there's so much fraud in the funeral community. Please stay tuned for part 2 and thank you for watching. Have a great evening and I'll see you soon. Peace.